On Life in the Park, cutting-edge ideas and practical tips abound at the upcoming Organic Living Workshop. High school students become the teachers, filling out a climate change report card. Maggie's Farm Theater announces its latest comic production, True West. These stories and more on Life in the Park.
Welcome to this edition of Life in the Park. I'm Scott Smith. Hey, save the date for the Organic Living Workshop, Saturday, April 16th at the Rec Center. Plan to come explore ways to reduce your eco-footprint. You'll hear cutting-edge ideas and practical tips for making positive, earth-friendly changes at home. The workshop will offer 3 unique topics aimed at local and regional sustainability perspectives, as well as diversity of eco-themed exhibitors. Preview the Future Earth with Pat Hamilton of the Science Museum of Minnesota. The future of Earth will be decided by human decision-making, either by default or design. What do we want our future Earth to be? SLP Sustainability Stories with St. Louis Park staff. The City of St. Louis Park is committed to being an environmental leader in sustainability. Come listen to our stories of environmental sustainability and how we are continuing to strive toward a more sustainable future for our city. A Smarter Home, a zero-waste home with Megan Cool-Stennis of Eureka Recycling. A zero-waste home isn't about sacrifice and sitting alone in a cold, dark house. Zero waste actually gets us what we all really want: healthy food, abundant resources, clean air and water, safe and reliable products, and healthy families and communities. The Organic Living Workshop. Experience sustainability in the park, Saturday, April 16th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Rec Center, 3700 Monterey Drive. The event is free to the public and no registration is required. You can help keep lakes and streams clean while creating a beautiful and bee butterfly-friendly habitat in your yard. Learn how at a Planting for Pollinators Rain Garden Workshop, hosted by Metro Blooms and Minnehaha Creek Watershed District. Mark your calendar for Wednesday, May 25th, 6 to 9 p.m. at the Rec Center, 3700 Monterey Drive in the park. To register now or learn more about other rain garden workshops, visit www.metroblooms.org. Hey, yard waste collection begins April 4th for leaves, weeds, shrub, and tree waste less than 4 inches in diameter. The city's brush drop-off site opens early on April 2nd and accepts brush and logs. For more information about yard waste disposal options, visit stlouispark.org/yardwaste.html. Hey, the leaders of tomorrow aren't easy graders when it comes to the future of our planet. St. Louis Park High School students became the teachers recently, filling out a climate change report card on the St. Louis Park City Council during its regular meeting. Overall, the teens decided the council secured a B- grade on its youth climate report card. Mayor Jake Spano said the results reminded him of his own report cards growing up, along the lines of, he does a fine job, but he doesn't apply himself as much as he could. I think we could do good work, but we can do more and we can do better, Spano said. St. Louis Park High School Roots and Shoots members Owen Geyer, Sophia Skinner, Jane Stevenson, and Lucas Reed each addressed the City Council.
What started as a couple students composting in the lunchroom a few years back has flourished into a group of concerned and caring students who, like myself, have a passion and desire to make change. Once we began working with I Matter, a network of passionate youth leaders from cities all over the country who are dedicated to ending the climate crisis within our lifetime, we realized how important it was for us to address climate change within St. Louis Park.
We are presenting to you a youth climate report card. It highlights what our city does in terms of environmental preservation today compared to what truly needs to be done in order to protect our future environment.
And you're absolutely right also that we're doing well in some things. I know when I presented at a climate resiliency conference in January, when I mentioned that composting program, 250 environmentalists from around the state burst into applause, right? They recognize that you're absolutely right. We have opportunities to lead, and I think St. Louis Park does lead on some of those things. I think there's a whole bunch of things, as we saw in the report card, that we can do a lot better on.
The St. Louis Park High School Environmental Club, called Roots and Shoots, is made up of forward-thinking teens who say they're fed up with inaction on the environment as they watch their favorite pieces of nature slip away and see others struggle. Worried about what they'll have to face when they're older, they also submitted a resolution to the council to create a St. Louis Park Climate Action Plan. The Youth Climate Report Card is a science-based tool offered by I Matter, a national youth climate organization that grades cities on how they're reducing greenhouse gas emissions to blunt climate change's worst effects. The city recently put together its Environmental and Sustainability Commission, and council members said they want the students to continue their work.
In this week's cover story, it was around town since the 60s. It was round, but now it's just a hole in the ground. The round building at 3000 France at Highway 7 in the park, recently known as the ASAP building, was built between 1959 to 1961, housing a variety of printing companies and other businesses over its history. It was demolished this past week to make room for redevelopment. Life in the Park's Scott Smith has more in our cover story.
The round building at 3000 France Avenue at Highway 7 was built by Motor Travel Services between 1959 and 61. The original intent was to build a two-story office building and an attached 45-unit motel. The design was by James R. Dresser, a protege of Frank Lloyd Wright. Upon opening, the building boasted 25,000 square foot Hoffman Kellen printing, run by Elliot Hoffman, an original tenant of the building. Hoffman Kellen employees referred to their new headquarters as the Round Building, although it did have a straight section that made it appear to be an unspooling roll of paper from the air. The building had 2 floors with the printing facilities on the first floor. The second floor featured an atrium with skylights. The secretaries sat in the middle and the salesmen in offices around the perimeter. This very active area was referred to as the bullpen. In 1962, Bernie Horowitz, owner of Bernie's Deli and Bakery, was listed as the owner. Bernie's Deli was just a few blocks from the round building on Minnetonka Boulevard back in the 60s. After 10 years, the building became impractical, especially for the printing end of the company. A one-story building was needed, and the company had to either expand or move. It eventually moved to Golden Valley in 1973. On July 1, 1974, the building was occupied by Moritz Laboratories. Galaxy Film Service was also housed in the round building from 73 to 74. In 1980, it was purchased by Country Club Market, which built an underground vault under the parking lot to house its huge mainframe computer. Country Club occupied in January 1981, but eventually went bankrupt. In 1989, the building was sold to As Soon As Possible Printing and Design Company, or ASAP. That business remained until the fall of 2015, when the building was sold to Bader Development and demolished. In 2015, Bader Development, based in St. Louis Park, purchased the entire block that includes the ASAP building, demolishing the existing buildings and building the showroom. So as the mythical phoenix from the ashes and debris will rise a new structure. Although round it will not be, it shall be a thing of function, beauty, and practicality.
More historical information about the round building can be found on the St. Louis Park Historical Society website at slphistory.org.
In this week's cover story, St. Louis Park Mayor Jeff Jacobs has attended many ribbon cuttings, dedications, civic events, and delivered many, many speeches. And if you've heard him speak, you know that written speeches are only kind of a guideline for him, not a script to be adhered to. Typically, he will spin up a story or two that will emphasize the point he's trying to articulate. Several years ago, in our attempt to promote our Beautify the Park initiative, the mayor was asked to pick up some trash in a city park. See if you can spot where the mayor tries an ad-lib or two.
Car 3392, we have a report of suspicious activity in Carpenter Park, possible aggravated mopery with intent to creep, southeast corner of Carpenter Park. Over.
Car 3392, copy. I'm nearby. ETA less than a minute. Over. Whoa, Mayor Jacobs, it's you.
Hi.
We had a report of suspicious activity out here. What are you doing?
Well, I'm doing my part to beautify the park by picking up the park.
At night?
Yeah, the council meeting got started a little early and I got home late from work. So I wanted to do it before the meeting, but it got dark, so I had to come out here and do it tonight because I want to do my part to beautify the park, even though I might be doing it at night. It's part of our Beautify the Park program. It's in times like this, I think everybody has to chip in and do something to make their community a better place to live. And so we've started the Beautify the Park event. It's a whole series of events like Earth and Arbor Day, Neighborhood and Park pickups. It's something that anybody can do and everybody should do. It's really easy to do, and it doesn't have to be very hard, it doesn't even have to be every day, but just to do something to make our community a better place. This is, after all, our home. We're very proud of it. We want to set the right image when people drive through or walk through our parks or drive through our streets. We want to do things that we can to make St. Louis Park the most beautiful place we can. So when other people drive through here or walk through our parks or come and see a sporting event here, they think, what a beautiful place St. Louis Park is. And it's because you and everybody around it can help. So thanks very much for being a part of this great project.
Dispatch, this is car 3392. False alarm on aggravated mopery with intent to creep. It was just the mayor picking up the park. 10-4.
Well, truth is, Jeff had no script while he was on camera, and he just winged the whole thing, and it worked. Thank you, Jeff. Remember, you can keep up to date in the park by visiting our Facebook page at facebook.com/St. Louis Park, or check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/St. Louis Park. So that's it for this week's edition of Life in the Park. Thank you for watching. Join us next week for another edition of Life in the Park right here on Park TV.